Happy Monday. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, March 8th. Here we are. How are you doing? I hope that this sunshine is serving to inspire today. It certainly is for me. It's a little easier to wake up a little earlier, perhaps. I happened to see the sunrise this morning. It was glorious. So I'm happy to be here. We'll get started in a moment. See if anybody else is jumping in live. I hope everybody is healthy and staying safe and hanging in there. Hi, Tanya. Good morning. Hi, John and Susan. Happy day. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Welcome to Sun and Moon Yoga's YouTube channel. I'm Annie Moyer. It is Monday morning, March 8th. In 1893, a teacher came to the Chicago World's Fair from India to present some teachings of the philosophical underpinnings of yoga and meditation at the World's Parliament of Religions. And he was Swami Vivekananda, and he is credited for being the first individual to come from India here to the US to bring these teachings to us. And he stayed for a couple of years, and he taught all over the country in San Francisco and Chicago and New York and Boston and Washington, D.C. And his teachings were they were the underpinnings of what was coming to be known as the Hindu philosophy, and tied and rooted to yoga traditions in terms of the meditative qualities of Raja Yoga, that considered to be the kingly or the princely yoga of meditation. And in interpreting and explaining the Yoga Sutras to curious Americans, Swami Vivekananda said the following thing about the second of the 196 Yoga Sutras, which tends to be the one that if anybody knows any of the sutras, they know this one, and that is that yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. It's a definition of yoga that tends to be accepted. And the way Swami Vivekananda explained this was to say that much like a troubled mind is not able to see a steady stream of light, rocky waters reflect a choppy image of what we know to be the steady stream of moonlight. And if we can quiet our mind, then we can let in a steady stream of divine conscious presence, much like a steady stream of moonlight is reflected in the continuous luminosity of still and glassy waters. And so what this means for us is that when times are rocky, when our mind is fractured and we have worry and we have fear and we have anger and we have grief and we have curiosity and we have uncontrollable triggers, that it can be useful to remember that this steady stream of wise guidance is always there, just like the moon is always there, being reflected off the light of the sun. We just can't always see it clearly, and it gets chopped up like the waters get rocky when there's a storm. And this is not to say that simply knowing that is going to calm the storm. Sometimes storms need to rage before they have the chance to clear out. But it's to say that we can abide a raging storm in our mind if we can couple that with the wisdom and the understanding and the faith and trust that that light is still shining. The sun will rise, the moon will cycle around, and we are in a transient form that will resolve itself in time and in space. So today's practice will be a variation. This is just my own creative take on the sequence that some would call a moon salute. And we're going to do it in 3 stages: seated, kneeling, and then standing up. So we'll begin seated. And just feel yourself rooted to the ground. And notice the weather in your mind. Is there a raging storm? Or is there a glassy, calm sea? And we are not being asked to do anything about it, much like we can't do anything about the weather. We're just being asked to notice. And then to pair that awareness with a breath that rises and falls, and then observe the next one to take its place. The rising inhale and the falling exhale. Let's do that a few more times. And then on the next rising inhale, raise the arms and reach them all the way up through the pinkies. You can lift your gaze and behold whatever is above you. And then on an exhale, take one arm over to the side and reach sideways with the other arm, lengthening the top side line of the body. And then bring both arms back up to center, lift through the pinkies, eagerly lift your gaze gently. And then over to the other side. And then back up. Now with both arms raised, both arms parallel to each other, tip over to one side like a crescent moon shape. And then inhale back up to center and over to the other side. And inhale back up to center. On the exhale, take the arms wide, bend 90 degrees at the elbows, palms facing in. And for a few relatively more vigorous breaths, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Straighten the arms, bend the elbows. Straighten the arms, bend the elbows. And then widen the arms out and slowly let them fall to your sides. And now spin around onto table pose, and you'll face the long side of your mat. If you have blocks or furniture handy on either side of the mat, that might be useful for you. And So if you can come onto your hands and knees facing the long side of your mat, so you're right at center. Just take a few movements of your spine, inhaling and exhaling. Breathing in, breathing out. And then come to center. And then put one hand just beneath the nose. And inhale, reach the other arm up. Pause here. On the exhale, scoop the arm down rather than going all the way under like a thread the needle. Just put your palm on the ground and turn to the side. And do that a few more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach under and pause. Inhale and exhale. And then back to center and replace the bottom centered hand with the other one. And again, inhale, exhale, reach under, pause. Inhale, exhale, reach under, pause. Last one. And then center. Good. Okay, now walk your hands back towards your knees and then stand up on the knees. If you want some padding under your knees, a thin blanket layer could be helpful. And then extend one leg out to the side and take the arms out wide. And on the exhale, reach over toward the straight leg and pause. And then come back up and reach all the way over to the other side. So here's where a block might come in handy, or a piece of furniture, something to raise the floor a little bit. And then reach up and over your head. And from here, bring your awareness to your bottom shin, the one that's pointing behind you, and rotate it toward the back foot a little bit. So it's just sliding underneath, like the hand of a clock, sliding more toward the back foot. And from here, lift up the back leg and straighten up the top arm. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to be lower on the bottom hand. So now we're in a kneeling half moon pose. I've got my lifted foot pretty active. It's flexed at the base of the ankle, and that helps send grounding energy through this lifted leg. It helps keep me stable. You can try it and see how that works for you. With your top arm, bring it over the side of your head again. So now we have a long line from the lifted fingers to the lifted heel. One more breath while we're here. And then come back up, land the back foot, rise back up onto the knee, dial the shin behind your thigh again, reach back over toward the straight leg. And then come back up, arms wide, and draw the straight leg in to kneel on both knees. Inhale, arms up, reach over to one side in a crescent moon shape. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the other side. Bring it back up. Bring the arms down for a moment and kick out your other leg. So it's like a kickstand. And then slide down that leg with the hand, reach over toward that straight leg side. And then back up to center. And over to the other side. Reach the top arm over the side of your head. The kickstand is still on the ground. And now take the bottom back shin and dial it toward the back foot. Take the top arm up and then lift the kickstand until maybe it's parallel to the floor. Take a breath. Do what you need to steady yourself. And then take the top arm over to the side. A long line from your fingers to your back heel. Sometimes it helps to tuck the toes under on the bottom foot. Take a breath. And when I say a long line, the body is never a straight line. So celebrate the curves in your long line. And then bring the arm back up, land the kickstand back down. Rise up, both arms out. Draw the kickstand knee back in. Inhale, both arms up. Crescent to one side. Inhale, center. Crescent to the other side. Inhale, center. Palms together, hands to your heart. And now pause for a moment. You can stay kneeling. You could sit back on your heels, or if that's no good for your knees, you can bring your legs in front of you to sit for a moment, just to recenter, to cleanse the palate. And our next stop is up on the feet. So feet together. And again, blocks or some furniture or some sort of prop to raise the floor when we eventually reach down for it can be useful. Palms together in front of your heart. And inhale, reach all the way up. Lift your gaze, lift your heart. Exhale, fold all the way down. Hang your head, release your jaw. Let everything drop from your hips to your heels and from your hips to your head. The lifting energy, the rising tide is focused on the sitting bones peeking up behind you. And now bend your knees and come part way up. Lift your heart, look forward, climb your shoulder blades on top of your back. And exhale, fold back down. Plant the feet. Take a deep breath and a broad swing with your arms all the way out and all the way up, and hands together at your heart. Inhale, reach up, this time with both arms raised. Take a crescent moon shape to one side. And bring back up to center and over to the other side. And bring it back up to center. And now step your feet a little bit wider than your hips and turn your toes out. Bend the elbows to 90 degrees, fingertips pointing up, palms facing in, just like we did when we were seated, and then bend your knees out. Some call this goddess pose. You can stay here and hold it, or you can pump it up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Pause the next time you're in the goddess. So the sitting bones are scooping under a bit so that you're not tipped forward, but you're nice and vertical with the torso. And now straighten the legs, open the arms wide, and heel toe out to a wide stance with one heel kicked back and the other foot turned out, setting up for triangle pose. Inhale, reach out to the side. Exhale, tip over. Put your hand on something, your leg, furniture, a block. And with your top arm, make a forward swimming stroke. Reach forward, bend your front leg. Take the back leg, press off the ball of the foot, step halfway to the front foot, and now drop your hand down onto something about a foot in front of your foot. Keep the circuit of your arm as you raise the back leg for half moon. And here I'm comfortably supported with my hand on this cube. Other arm lifting, back leg reaching behind me. And if you'd like to, you can add that long side body reach. Now on the way out, we're going to backstroke the lifted arm. So if it's overhead, bring it back up. Keep backstroking, bend your standing leg, reach all the way back with the back foot to land for another triangle pose. And then back up and release. And now shift your feet to point the other way. And take your arms out wide. Setting up for the second side of triangle. Reach to the side, tip over, put your hand on something. I like my shin to be the brace for my hand, and this helps support the spine. Take a few breaths. And then forward swim the top arm as you bend the knees and shift the legs. Back foot comes halfway to the front foot, pause. Grab whatever you're going to use to support yourself. Hand a foot in front of the foot, and then lift up the back leg, straighten the bottom leg, reach up with the top arm, and breathe. You can do this leaning against a wall to provide extra support, and top arm can reach over to the side if you'd like. And now we'll backstroke it back out. So top arm goes back, back, back. Bend the standing leg, reach back with the back foot, land, and reset for another triangle. And then rise up. Turn the feet forward. Relax the arms down. Heel toe the feet halfway in, slightly wider than the hips. We'll do another goddess pose. Elbows bent at 90 degrees, knees bent, base of the torso scooping under a bit to keep the torso vertical. Pump it up a few times if you'd like. And then reach up, bring the feet together, another crescent moon to one side. Back up to the other side. Back up and hands together at the heart. Next stop, a simple forward fold. Just an easy release for the spine, for the hamstrings, for the neck, the jaw, the head. The shoulder blades can hang off of the back, spreading wide apart from each other. And then slowly make your way back down to the floor and come onto your back. So you're lying straight down. And reach your arms behind you. A long stretch, fingers to toes. And then make the crescent moon shape on the floor. So slide the feet over to one side and curl the upper body to the same side, but without rolling the shoulder up. So it's not a twist in the spine. It's just a lateral bend, a curve like a crescent moon. And then back to center and the other side. So you feel the stretch in the side body. Both shoulders squarely on the ground. both hips squarely on the ground. And then back to center. And now bend the knees. Separate them as wide as your mat, or at least wider than your hips. You can release your arms by your sides and then just rock the knees from side to side. Turn the head one way, opposite the knees, turn it the other way. And then bring yourself back to center and bring the feet as wide as your hips and roll the spine, roll the pelvis back and forth like a gently slow motion bowling ball on a boomerang. Slow motion forward and back. And then pause. And now bring both knees in. Make some circles with your knees. And circle the other direction. And then as you like, you can find your way up to sit. And then just with a comfortable support underneath your hips, you can spend some quiet time in a comfortable rooted seat. You can try the opposite cross of your legs to help keep an awareness as you observe this moment in a new way. A little bit of a lift at the back of the head so the neck is long, and a gentle tuck of the chin, keeping the head centered over the spine. Lift your shoulders and draw them back just a touch. Feel the sitting bones rooting down, planting themselves into the ground. And then imagine a little bit of a lake, some water swirling around above the surface of your pelvis, just maybe to your navel. And with quiet breaths, imagining a light shining down, perhaps from the moon. Can you invite a stillness to those waters? And can that stillness reflect a steady, luminous presence that lures your mind into a more settled state? You can imagine that the breath represents a gentle breeze, and once in a while, perhaps it generates some ripples on this still lake. And perhaps just for these precious moments, maybe it seems as if the storm has passed. And then very gently, so as not to disturb the lake or to dim the light, bring the palms together. I thank you so much for joining, for watching, for practicing, for breathing, for being. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you all soon. Take good care, everybody. Take good care of yourself.